bottom. But
All right. Hi, good evening, doing the most media community. Tonight we have a very special feature building off of yesterday and just honestly building off of the month of introducing you to new businesses or businesses that are just new to you. My name is Amanda, the host, and I want to just very briefly go over our community guidelines. Tonight, please be engaged, ask questions, join the discussion, and then more than anything else, be respectful. Everyone who comes on and shares in their feature is sharing about their personal business, and it's near and dear to their hearts. So, also, please drop in the comments if you are watching or listening from anywhere in the United States or anywhere else in the world. Please feel free to drop that in the comments and engage with us so that we know where you're watching and tuned in from. We always appreciate knowing that. Since we are in a pandemic, everyone's looking for something to do. Tonight is a special episode as we are talking about a bookshop with sister owners, Lanisha and Lene. Please join us in welcoming the sister owners of Bliss Books and Wine out of Kansas City. Hi, ladies. Thanks for joining us.
Hi,
hello.
thanks for having us on.
Oh, you're most welcome. So, before we jump into anything, I would like for each of you, and you can decide who goes first, to share a little bit about yourselves with our audience.
The oldest can go first.
Oh, thanks. I am Lene Robinson. I am the older sister of Bliss Books and Wine. I am a mother of three. Oh, goodness, my oldest is, what year is it? Oh, my goodness, she's 24. My yeah, I know, hurts your heart, doesn't it? My middle daughter is 11 and baby boy is 10. We actually live in Virginia, in Northern Virginia. I moved away from Kansas City a while ago, but of course, it's always home. And prior to the pandemic, I was flying back and forth all the time. So I can't wait until I can be at home with my family and my business again. Um, Software engineer by trade. Love doing books and wine by day and night. So a little bit about me.
Oh, I'm Lanisha. I am the youngest of the little duo here. I live in Kansas City, born and raised. I am a wife and a mother of two. We have a 16-year-old and a 7-year-old. She's about to be 8. Um, see, by trade, my 9 to 5 job is I'm a physical therapist, and I just love reading books and sipping some wine, and thought we can join forces with my big sis and come across this lovely idea of Bliss Books and Wine.
That is an amazing idea to put wine and books together. Not that we don't all do that in our spare time. Could you share with us a little bit about how you both discovered your love for reading and then kind of turn that into something else?
You can go first on the love for
Yeah.
reading part.
So I've been a bookworm, a book lover, probably all my life. My mother read to us all the time. I was always begging for the nighttime stories. Lanisha would run away and hide and not want to participate. She hated to read then. Um, it was like torture for her. But I've always been very passionate about books. It's the first to run and get the library books off the shelves and go back and turn them in and get more books, and carried that throughout college and just always had a book on me. Um, which Lanisha was a little later coming to the reading scene, but I'll let her tell her story.
So she's right. So she was always a book nerd our entire lives. We called her the librarian because she used to make us check out our books. Like she had a card and everything and a stamp. So we would have to sign our name on it and like when we could return her book back. Like she was the ultimate librarian. And she was right. I did not like to read. I read Archie comic books nonstop. Like that was the only reading that you were going to get me to do. I came into reading later on, probably in college, is when I started to come around reading and kind of found my love for it again. Probably because I wasn't forced to do it like, during school and things like that. I just came across it myself, and I just kind of was late in the game. Like I missed a lot of great books that everybody was like, oh yeah, I used to read that when I was so and so, and oh yeah, she got me through my teenage years. And I'm just kind of like, So kind of late in the game, but I'm catching up very, very quickly. I read about 3 or 4 books at a time. So I really do enjoy reading. So
Superhero level reading right there.
yeah, I have to carry one. It's either on audio. I have an audio. I do ebooks, and then I do hard copies. So there are 3 different types of reading, but I try to do them all at the same time. So
That's amazing. So how did you two take your love for reading and then turn this into Bliss Books and Wine? How did that happen?
well, I was reading a book, and I don't recall which one it was. I was reading a book over lunch because, again, I'm constantly reading all the time now. And so my lunch hour was ending, and I was getting into the thick of it. Like, it was really, really good part. So, you really hate to put that book down when you're right there in the middle of that. And so I was really, really frustrated. And so I remember just like coming home, and it's just like, what the heck can I do? Or where can I go that I could finish this book, decompress, and have a glass of wine? And then I just started brainstorming. I was just like, man, my husband can go to like cigar lounges to decompress. He can go to sports bars. He can go all these places, but there weren't really a place for somebody like me to go and go after work or read this book or finish this chapter and have a drink of wine or a glass of wine. And so I started brainstorming, and of course, when you're in a situation like that, you go to your big sis, right? And so I started telling her, like, look, this is what I want. This is this idea. And she's just like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm just like, huh? She's like, no, let's do it, like right now. And I'm just like, wait, what? So she's the driving force behind my creativity, this idea. She's just like, and let's go. And she's been pushing ever since.
That's an amazing story, because it's one thing to tell your sister a story and then they're like, yeah, go ahead and do it. It's another thing to be like, let's do it. So that's amazing that you two were able to pair up on this and make something that was a problem into a non-problem, and then something so amazing for the community also.
Yeah.
So if you had to describe Bliss Books and Wine to someone else who's maybe never been there, never maybe looked at the space online, how would you describe Bliss Books and Wine for someone new?
Mhm. I would say it's the ultimate escape. If you're a book lover or a wine lover or both, or just need a break from reality and a place, like Lanisha said, to decompress and just be with like-minded people with the community, or just off to yourself, taking a breather and some time for self and a little me time. But we're trying to build a community just virtually right now. But hopefully sometime soon, just have that community gathering place where people can come and just relax, read, and sit.
I would agree with that. So when I think about Bliss, I think of, hopefully once we get our brick and mortar, I think of an oasis, of an escape, of a place where you can just go and just relax and read and sip. And I mean, you can talk to your girlfriends if you want, or you can just be in a little book nook and just be to yourself. It's a place where introverts and extroverts can go, right? So it's a gap. It's a bridging a gap between people who want to maybe stay to themselves, or people who want to gather with people and just have a community that way. So
That's amazing, because you're taking time to think about those. Like you said, whether you're introvert or extrovert, it does not matter. It can be a place
correct.
for you either way. And that's an
Mm-hmm.
amazing thing to have.
Yeah.
So you're not limited to just books and wine. I know before the pandemic, and I know that you have plans probably even after the pandemic to return to some of the things. But what are some of the other things outside of books and wine that are offered, or people can partake in when it comes to your space?
So the thought process behind Bliss was to build a community, as Lene said. So we want to feature and spotlight local authors, artists, winemakers, things along that. We want it to be a community based thing. So in the future, we're looking for places where artists can display their artwork. Another author can do, or artist can do, like spoken word, or musicians or things like that. It's just a place for a community, for those local artists and those people to be able to showcase their work. So
It sounds like
just to have a
together.
place where they can, their space, so that they can share. But we also, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say we have a book club that meets monthly virtually, where we will pick a book, we'll read it over the course of about 4 weeks, and then on the first Wednesday of every month we get on Zoom and just chat it up and drink and laugh and just kind of unwind.
Mm-hmm.
It's virtual, but at least it's still a state of release, and you can just hang out. We also have author events where we have different authors, not even just in Kansas City, but some of the independent authors that are not published by the big boys, and they're just trying to get their work out to a larger audience. So we'll have them come on and speak with the group, and we'll have their books available. They'll kind of describe it, do some readings, and answer any questions from the audience. What else have we done? We did a paint and sip, which was pretty fun with one of the art studio or art galleries. What is she? Gallery studio?
Art gallery studio, yeah.
Yeah,
Common Canvas. Shout
Common
out to
Canvas in Grandview, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
She did a virtual paint and sip with us, which was a lot of fun.
We partnered with
One Hope Wine.
One Hope Wine
Yeah.
with that, and so we did a paint and sip, and then One Hope Wine, you could purchase their wine, and so everybody had the wine, and then their representative came online and talked about the wine. So we did like a wine tasting before, and then we did the sip or the paint part afterwards.
And then part of those proceeds went to Reach Out and Read Kansas City, which is an organization that we try to help sponsor, and they do pediatric visits and give the kids books to build up their libraries. So we try to partner with them a lot. There's something else that we've been doing. I don't know. We're just kind of all over the place, just trying to keep everybody going during the pandemic and give them something to do.
Different areas to be involved in. I mean, a give back is always amazing, especially when it comes to the kids and expanding their ability to read and having access to literacy materials. So, I mean, you're doing, I don't want to say it all, but you're doing definitely a whole lot for the community.
We wanted to do that component as an extension to Bliss, because Bliss is going to be for adults, right? It's their oasis, it's their getaway. So we're not having children and those things inside the store. So we wanted to do that as an extension to really focus on the childhood literacy, that we can kind of give back to that portion of it as well. So
I'm glad that you mentioned that. I know you said that kids aren't necessarily allowed in the store, but I did see that you have a selection of books that also extends to children's materials as well. So it covers, you cover the gamut.
Yeah.
So people can still order that way as well, right?
They can. That was supposed to be like a seasonal deal for the holidays, but parents want books for their children. So they're constantly asking if we, carry a certain book, and we'll get it for them. And there are a lot of authors that are publishing children's books. So we still want to provide that avenue for people to get the books that they want and be able to showcase the books that they're creating. So
when having the kids' books, I'm sure it helps parents, because there's not a chance that, we as parents would get a chance to read if, we didn't also have something for them to read as well. So that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to let's jump into a little bit of the challenges. I know that the pandemic has presented a lot of challenges for everyone in general, and then definitely for businesses. But what are some of the challenges that maybe you all have faced together during this last year or so, or even just general business challenges that you would be able to share with us about your experience?
I'll go first. The pandemic really did, put a hurdle in front of us to where we kind of had to pivot quite a bit. We were meeting in person and hosting pop-ups at various locations and having authors come and sell their books and author spotlights and drinking wine, and everybody's having a great time. And then pandemic hit, screeching halt. What do we do now? And so we did have to pivot, and we had to change our business plan and the direction that we were going to be able to sustain Bliss Books and Wine. So that was a challenge to figure out how we can do this virtually. Like, what can we still provide virtually? And a challenge that we're still facing is the wine component, because we are not a winery, we can't ship wine. But the opportunity presented itself to where we can now partner with local wineries, and then they can do the wine portion, and they compare it with the books that we select, and then they can ship the wine. So it was a hurdle, but yet it grew our community. And so we're able to reach out to those local wineries. We're able to reach beyond Kansas City with our virtual community now, and we're just all over, and people are all over are joining in on our virtual book clubs. So that was a hurdle, but yet it turned into such a blessing. And I can't say, it's hard for me to say that a pandemic was a blessing, but for us as business women, um, it was a blessing. Like I said, it was allowed us to reach beyond Kansas City, and just bring a lot of people together and put Kansas City on the map. So literally on the map.
Brought challenges and solutions. It sounds like you got some challenge and solution in that, because the creative partnerships and the creative pairings, that's amazing, because not everybody has figured out those different pivots and those moves to make at this time.
Yeah.
It just
I
makes
credit.
Oh, I was just going to say, it like you said, it makes you come up with creative solutions, and you have to think outside of the box and just make things up and try it, see if it sticks, and keep rolling with it.
Yeah, definitely. And I got to go back to also what you said, Anisha, is at the end of the day, like, a blessing doesn't always look like a blessing. It may not feel like a blessing, but honestly, sometimes it's just to be found in there what really is. And you guys sound like you found.
It did not feel like a blessing.
I'm sure it did, because like you said, things came to a screeching halt. Like, that's not like, oh, we took a time out or we made the decision. It was made for, all of us, for sure. And I'm glad you guys have been able to make that pivot, because the community seems to be loving it. I see the feedback and the love. And I mean, I think I saw the book and wine pairing, like was it Date a Book?
Oh, blind date with the book.
Yep, blind date with a book. That's what it was. And I was like, that is so amazing, because at the end of the day, I mean, that's kind of a good way to fill the time. You're on a blind date with a book, and it's something new to you. So that's another creative pivot.
I credit our business classes that we were taking with Cure and Dan and Sharon. They were very supportive. Like, they were just making you think outside the box, and just very supportive in every way that they possibly could be, with our classes that we did take. And so they just had us thinking, okay, now what now? Think higher. She always kept saying, think higher, think higher. And so when this happened, we had to think higher. We had to pivot. Now what? Where do we go? And so without that support from those people, and then our family and our community, we wouldn't be where we are today. So
I like that. Think higher. Not all of us challenge ourselves that way, but this is definitely a time to do that thinking higher.
Mm-hmm.
So thinking about the time since you started, we've talked a little bit about your passion for reading, the purpose for the bookstore and the book club in the community. Let's talk a little bit about the plans for the future. I don't know who wants to take this question, but are there any plans for the near future that you're able to share with us? I know the pandemic kind of has things crunched up, but still would like to ask.
Well, hopefully we'll get to the place where we can be face to face again. We're trying to come up with a solution for like local pickup. So everything, because right now all our books are being handled through our distributor, and we're doing like direct to home shipping. But we want to try to provide a more cost efficient model for our local community. So we're trying to come up with a solution where they can just come and so they can order their books and then do some type of local pickup, maybe once or twice a month or so. Hopefully we can start doing our in-person pop-up events again. Smaller size, but do the face-to-face again while we're looking for a space for our storefront. So we're getting we're getting options again. We started our search. pick that back up. So we are hoping to get the brick and mortar going end of the year, early next year. We're shooting. We're looking for locations, so it is coming. We're back on the grind and trying to make that a reality again.
Definitely best wishes with that.
Thank you.
So with all that, the moments that have happened this year, the ups and the downs and everything else, are there any positive highlights or standout moments that, whether it's feedback you've gotten from somebody, a nod or acknowledgement of some sort, what really stands out to each of you about this past year?
I've recently kind of answered this question before to somebody, and I feel that every moment is a highlight. I think every acknowledgement, every post, every mention, all of that is just a highlight, like big or small. However, I do know that two stick out to me. And I'll let you talk about the email one, Lene, if you wanted to, but we could talk about the Oprah one for B because that was hilarious. So so I said that I'm a physical therapist. So I'm at work. I'm in the middle of doing an evaluation with a new patient. Never met this person before. And so my phone rings. So all of the phone calls come to my phone. And sometimes I can answer, sometimes I can. And I looked and it was on my watch. And I was just like, oh, I can't answer right now because, first time meeting somebody. I can't interrupt that rapport. And so I'm just like declining and I'm keep going. And all of a sudden I get a text. And I was just like, okay. And I look at it again, and she was like, girl, that's Oprah. And I stopped in the middle of my eval. I said, Oprah? And the whole gym came to like a screeching halt. And everybody was just like, I said, Oprah just called my phone. So then I go, excuse me. And I just run outside and I called my sister first. And I was just like, okay, what's happening? And she was like, oh, that was Oprah. That was the editor for Oprah Magazine. They were calling. They wanted to do a story on us, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like in the parking lot, like fanning myself, like having a nervous breakdown. And so we called them back and we did the interview. And I went to Cinnabon and I stress ate and had a nervous breakdown and a happy cry. And that was just amazing.
Huge. Yeah, a cry is definitely needed there.
Yeah. So that was the one that was just kind of like, wait a second. So that was big, and it was another one that touched the both of us.
Yeah, so right before Christmas, we got an email from a gentleman that was interested in a book and wine pairing. And there was one that he saw on our website, and he was really excited about it. And he was like, okay, I want to get this for my wife. I think they had like a newborn, or they have kids, and she just has not been taking any time to herself. He's like, I've been checking you out. I see what you're doing. I see how you're motivating people. And I really want to get her reading again. And unfortunately, it was a book that was like on back order. And he's like, I can't get it to you in time for Christmas, but I'll check on it every day. And he's like, I appreciate you doing it. I really want to get this for her. I'll print out the picture of it and let her know that it's coming. And I just really want her to take time for herself. And he said that she's been following us as well. And she was just saying how much she enjoyed everything that we were putting out there. So he was really, they both are really looking forward to the time that we could open up the store. And he's like, I'm sure she'll be there often. And I said, I will give me her name. I will make sure that I reach out to her and just tell her the importance of taking time for herself. And it pulled at in my heartstring because like he got the why of what it was that we're trying to do. The self-care, the taking the time out, getting back to reading again. I took a huge break when I had my children. Like I was the person that would stay up and finish a book, like cover to cover, nonstop. I wouldn't stop until I finished it. And once the kids came along, that's not an option. And I just found myself living for my children day after day, doing everything for everyone except for myself. So I feel like if I can help someone else to get out of that cycle and pull themselves up again, that is something that I want to do. And it should, that email I emailed him back. I was like, I had tears in my eyes because I've been there, but at least she has you for the support system, and you're caring enough to want to give her that time to herself. And his message was like, now you can put your damn feet up and take some time. And I was like, yes, I love it. So that brought the whole why full circle. And I was like, okay, so we're putting the message out there. People are actually getting what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
That's such a community strong moment right there. That is a very beautiful moment because I think a lot of moms forget, and then sometimes we just need to hear that it's okay. I think moms just need that extra bit of encouragement to take that time for themselves. That's a beautiful story, and for him to have gotten the why and made sure that she got what she wanted. And
I was in tears. I was reading the email like, yep. It was heartfelt. It was touching, and he got it. He got the why,
and he posted the pictures afterwards. Oh, the
yeah, he did. So,
let me ask a little bit about the back end. How do you guys pair the wine and the books, or is that something that it just comes along? How does that go?
We partner with the local winery. So one partnership was with Casey Wineworks, and I met with them. I love them. I'm there all the time. I met with Sydney, and I was just like, "Hey, here's the 7 books that I want you to pair wine with." And she sat down, and we went through them, and we talked about it. She was like, "That's going to go with this. That's going to go with this," and so she helped me with the pairing. And same thing happened with Western Wine Company. She participates in our book clubs, and so she'll she knows what book we're doing, and she goes, "This goes with this book," and we're just like sold, So, so we like our partnerships with the local wineries. So we're looking forward to trying to extend some beyond the 2 that we have right now, and see what other people would like to suggest as well. So.
Oh, we're all about the fire collaborations. I'm glad to hear about the partnerships on that.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a good collaboration?
Yeah, it's great. So that was one big thing that the pandemic kind of put to a halt, like I said, is the wine component. And so being able to partner with local wineries is really great to bring the wine back into Bliss Books and Wine. So.
And don't get me wrong, books are great, but wine with books.
Wine with books.
Way up there. That's awesome. I feel like we're a really huge community here at Doing the Most Media about being connected and being part of the community and expanding that connection in that community. Would you please share with us your social media handles, anywhere websites people can reach out?
Sure. So our website is blissbooksandwine.com. On Facebook, we are Bliss Books Wine. On Twitter, we're Bliss Books Wine. And on Instagram, my apologies, we are Bliss_books_wine_KC. My mentor hates that I have that long name.
When you were saying it, I kept thinking of her. She's going crazy right now.
Well, we'll make it.
I don't know.
It's definitely in the description. I put everything in there so people can click. It will make it really easy to get there so that they can follow and they can make sure to follow all the pairings and the books because there's such good information and such good resources. I mean, at the end of the day, we just want the people to be able to connect with you all.
Thank you. Yes.
Appreciate it.
Don't forget the underscore.
I wanted you to be able to read it.
That's the tech in you. That's the techie stuff.
But it works. It really does. So I don't want to let this time with you ladies close out without letting you share anything that you think that you feel is important that you just want people to know, because people connect authentically even through these virtual means now. So I want to be able to give you guys that chance to share anything else that you want with the community.
I feel like I've been talking a lot. I'll let you go.
I mean, that's what you do. Okay, something we want to leave. We have an author event coming up on the 24th with Dr. Taryn Fletcher. Her debut book, it's called In All Lanes, and it's about systemic racism and biases in schools for Black and brown children. And it's actually like a framework for teachers and how to get over that bias and to be intentional, like lesson plans and just how they connect with children. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then on March 3rd,
We have one more in February.
what do we have in February?
Joel.
Hmm?
Joel.
Oh, Joel. Yes, I forgot. We were doing a podcast with Joe Goldberg. I can't remember the name of his podcast. Oh, he's going to kill me. What day is that? The
Ooh,
23rd? It'll be on. I'll post it on our website and our socials.
you're asking me?
I know, right? Too much going on. You and all my hashtags, my underscores have just blown my brain.
When you post it, we'll definitely reshare it because
The
it's
23rd. The
23rd.
23rd. It is the 23rd with Joel, the voice of Kansas City Royals.
Yes.
His podcast.
Looking forward to that. He's a great storyteller. So
He is awesome. Yeah.
really tune in.
Uh-huh.
Okay, is that it for February now?
That's it for February.
Okay.
Yes.
And then on March 3rd, we have our monthly book club meeting, and we are discussing Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Lee. So we're looking forward to that.
Oh, this
Yes.
is all exciting. Yes, I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled and look for this information, and definitely be sure to reshare it with the community so people who want to be a part or can want to catch up with you all and these different February end out projects into March, they can definitely do that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you both so much for coming on with me tonight. I appreciate you for allowing us to feature Bliss Books and Wine. And thank you everyone who tuned in. Definitely still drop comments, whether you're watching it live or on the replay, because we appreciate the feedback. Thank you, everybody, and have a good evening. We will see you all tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Right.
All right.
Well, I want to offer